Hello, this is Tech Tips with Stoneman. Today we're going to talk about filters and labels inside Google. This will be for using the Google web interface. A couple things to know about labels and filters. Fairly simple. Google calls labels what they call mailboxes in Mac Mail and different mail clients. So it'd be called labels inside the Google interface. Filters would also be considered called rules, which you would use in Mac Mail or Exchange servers or things like that, which would automate your email, as in flagging them, or they call them starring them in Google. But that's how we're going for. So first thing we're going to do is let's talk about labels a little bit and creating a label. There's a couple different ways of creating a label. I'm going to show you the most basic. We go on the left-hand sidebar, my web interface here at google.com, and we take a look at it, and we scroll down a little. We can see where we have this here. I've already got some labels made up. You click on the more icon, you can scroll down a little bit more, and you can do create new label. You click on that, you can enter a name of a label, and you can nest it under labels too. Similar to mailboxes, you could have a label and then labels under. So you could have work emails and then clients, things like that. So just to let you know. Also in here, so that would be that there. Simplest way of creating a label. But we're going to do this more streamlined, more on the fly. We're going to create labels inside our filters when we create filters. So let's start with that. Creating filters is a fairly simple process. What you want to do, there's a couple different ways of creating filters. First, and the most apparent, the most direct, I should say, not apparent, is click on the search mail icon. You have this drop down right here, and here we go. So we could create a filter from someone right there, and then we can do filters. Now, once we have a criteria filled out on that, we can click on the create filter. Now, the challenge with this would be from someone you know or someone you sent emails to in this particular case. We would create a filter here, and then we could do different things. Skip the inbox. That would move it directly from your inbox to wherever your label resides, which would be on the left-hand side here. Mark as read. It's something like a newsletter, something you don't want to see. Star it is flagging it. Apply label. Now this is where we talked about labels, where we can create a new label right inside this interface. We can forward it. If it's something important, we want to forward it. We can just delete it. We can also say never send it to spam. That would be important if it's something that maybe you're getting a particular newsletter at once in a blue moon. There's something that gets sent to spam. Mark it as important. Never mark it as important. I personally don't use these important rules, but you can use them in Gmail to mark stuff as important. Basically, it's starring it. It's a way of marking important. It's organization. Google's trying to help you out. You can do categories. You can do primary, social, update, forums, or promotions. I don't use the Google categories. I don't particularly like them. And then also you can apply it to emails already in your inbox. So that would be a quick rundown of what this is. Skip the inbox, moves out of the inbox. Mark it as read, fairly simple. Star it, or flag it if you're in another mail client, or if you're syncing with another mail client. Apply the label, that would be putting it in the folder. Forward it, you can forward it to someone. Delete it, fairly simple. Never send it to spam. That would be like a newsletter or something you get, or maybe an automated email from a source that you have. Always mark it as important and never mark as important. I don't use them, but you could use them in your Gmail interface. Categories, that would be if you want to set categories up like social media, things like that. I don't use that as well. And then also apply it to your into matches inside that. Now I'm going to cancel this because I'm not going to apply a filter directly here from this. I've got other things I want to show you. So then we're going to go back to our inbox. Here we are back to our inbox here. So the second way, and probably the most useful way of creating a filter, would be directly from the email itself. Now this is, in my opinion, the easiest way of doing it. It makes the most sense that you can do this. So we're going to use this Amazon.com email right here. We're going to open this up here. My package was delivered. Now what I want to do is create a rule so all my email from order update at Amazon.com goes into a label, which is a mailbox. We're going to click on the three dots under the more right here. I believe we can do it here too. Filter message like these. So either one on the three dots. We're going to use this top one, filter messages like this. Now it's already filtered, and there we go. If you notice in the backdrop, we have these all filtered here. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a filter. So then we want to skip that inbox. I don't need it in my inbox. I know I want to go. Now, if you do this, it's not going to show up in your inbox. It's only going to show up under the label that you have it. I'm going to do it. I know I get notifications on my phone from Amazon app when I get stuff shipped, but I do like seeing the emails. So we're going to do skip inbox. Mark it as read. No, we'll leave those as unread. I actually would like to see that. Star it. I don't need to star it. Apply label. Now that we do want to do because we want to create a new label called Amazon order or Amazon. We're going to do Amazon orders. So we're going to create a new label. We're going to call this Amazon orders. And then we're going to create this. And then what we're going to do, notice it's going to skip the inbox. We're also going to apply this to the 40 matching. So what that means is it's going to skip the inbox. It's going to purge it out of my inbox automatically. It's going to go to the label Amazon orders. It's also going to apply to the current messages I have in there. We're never going to send it to spam. That's probably a good one to do with something like this, as it's a mailer. It's an automatic mailer like we talked about. We're not going to worry about marking as important. We don't use those rules. We're not going to worry about category. Now we're going to create a filter here. Now, in theory, it should take a second. This should all go right over to there. So now we go back here, and we're going back to our inbox. If we notice, the Amazon.com is now gone here. Now if we go to Amazon orders, there we go. Now all my Amazon order emails are filtered and applied to this label here. They're outside my inbox, so keep my inbox clean and tidy, and that's where they're at. So from now on, I'll do it. So let's review this one more time. We're going to make another one here. Why don't we make one here for, let's make one for this Watch Gang email here. So we're going to open Watch Gang. Now I've already got a filter or a label called Watch Gang, so I want these to just go in there. We're going to click on the more. We're going to do filter messages like this. Hello at Watch Gang. We're going to do create filter. We want it to skip the inbox, so it goes out of there. And we apply label, and let's put it in Watch Gang. And let's never send it to spam. But these aren't as important, so we can mark those as read as well. And there's only one message in there, it looks like, so we're going to do apply that. Filter will not be applied to older conversations as spam or trash because I delete them. That's okay. We're going to create filter. Now, in theory, all of those will now go into the Watch Gang label. So that would be how to create, and probably the most useful way of creating a filter inside Google's webmail list directly from the email. Now the third way of doing it, most clunky of way, but it does work. We got to click on this settings gear up here on the right. Then we're going to go see all settings. This brings up your traditional email your Gmail settings interface. We go here, filters and block addresses. So there we go. There's some filters. There's the two we just made up there. And then how we have them right here. So we could do apply inbox, select all, import, create new filter. Same exact thing. Now the problem is from here is, of course, now we have to track it, type in who we want it to go, and then create the filter. So we could do subject eats cookies, which I don't have any, but it sounds like a good thing. We're going to create a filter. We're going to leave it in the inbox. We will star it just for the hell of it. And we can also choose a label. We can make a new label. We can call it cookies. So from now on, if we get one with the subject eat cookies, it'll automatically go to our eat our cookies label right here. Now what I just did is I actually sent myself an email from a separate email account with the subject eats cookies. So in theory, we're going to go back to our inbox. There it is, and we notice it's starred just like in the rule. It does apply the cookie label, and we have it right there. Now the reason why it's still in our inbox, if we go back to our filters under CL settings, filters and block addresses, and we go to edit here, if we notice, we said we didn't check skip the inbox. So it's still in the inbox and it is in the cookies folder. Okay. So if we wanted to change that to mark it as read, and we'll leave it right there, update filter. So from now on, the next one that comes in that's eats cookies will be marked as read as well. Hope that makes sense to you. Next thing, that was modifying filters, fairly quick example. Next thing is we just don't want to use a filter anymore. We don't want a filter, we don't need it anymore, we're done. So we're going to use the eats cookies. So the easiest way, this is where it gets a little clunky. We have to go back in the CL settings. We go to filters and block addresses. We're going to check mark the eats cookies and we're going to delete it. And we're going to delete this filter. So now I no longer have the eats cookies filter. Now that being said, let's get rid of the cookies label. So we're going to go up here, put the cursor over here. We see the 3 dots, fairly simple. We're going to click on that. We're going to click on remove label, delete. Now if we noticed, the cookies label has disappeared as well. Now one more final cool trick here. We're talking about labels and filters, and I wish there was a way we could do it here, but unfortunately we can't. But what we can do is our labels on this sidebar here, we can actually color code them. So what we can do is go to these 3 dots right here. We can go show label color, and we can change the colors of them. This is probably the closest yellow we have, so we'll do that. So there's a yellow similar to Amazon. Now if we notice, there's some other cool things in here, like we can change these filters here, and we can just do show if unread. So now it's hiding. If we click on more, it shows up under here under the more. You know, it's just hiding. There's nothing in there I want to see. If we want to modify that settings, we go here. We just go back to show. Now it'll always be there. So I hope this makes sense to you. This is Stoneman from Tactics of Stoneman. If you have any questions or comments about this video, please drop a comment in the section below. As always, like and subscribe for more tech tip videos. Thank you and goodbye.